Hi, this is Ann at Mama Library. I'm going to take a few minutes today to tell you about this month's Adult Craft Take-Home Kit. It's a scrap paper collage card, and the kit includes everything you need to make a couple of really cute cards to send to a friend. Let me show you a couple examples here. There's this one that just says, "Miss you." And here's this one, kind of a happy little rainbow. So inside your kit, let me show you you're going to find inside there. First of all, you're going to have a couple of blank cards, and a couple of envelopes. You're also going to have a couple of sheets of watercolor paper, because when you do collage, the watercolor paper is thick enough that it can take the liquid from the glue without buckling up. So we've got one watercolor sheet for each card, and on the back you can see there's like peel and stick tape. So this is the front that you'll collage, and when you get done, you can use the peel and stick tape to put it down on your card. You're also going to have a selection of paper. So we've got kind of like random book pages taken out of books that we had to pull off the shelf because they were too damaged for anyone to check out anymore. So we've got some book pages. We've got even some magazine pages, just kind of random magazine pages. And also some kind of a random selection of some like patterned paper. And then finally, in order to put it all down, we've got a container of Mod Podge and a paintbrush. Making a scrap paper collage is super easy and I think a lot of fun. It's really just a matter of cutting shapes out of paper and then gluing them down on the watercolor paper. Easy peasy, right? And you can make any kind of design that you like, from super simple to things that are really complex. It really just depends on your taste and how much time you feel like doing that. But in case you're having a hard time coming up with a design, I've included patterns for that Miss You card and the rainbow cards. These two designs work really well with any color palette, and they're perfect for like mixing prints and patterns, particularly kind of if you're working with kind of a random sampling of paper, which is kind of what we've got in the bags. So like for the rainbow, you'll notice that we don't actually have to have rainbow order. And the clouds, I mean, this is print. This is actually potatoes. It's mashed potatoes. It kind of cracked me up. Mashed potatoes and chives for a cloud. The Miss You is very similar. Just each letter out of a different paper. And we've got magazine page. I think this is where someone was making the mashed potatoes. We've got scrapbook paper, and then also like words cut from the book. So I don't really think that I need to do like a demo because it really is just cut the shapes out and glue it down on the paper, but I do have some tips and tricks to share with you. Okay. So Ann's best tips and tricks for doing collage cards. There's not a whole lot. This is really kind of open-ended, make it like you like project. But there are some things that keep in mind that will make this project more satisfying for you. First thing is I always lay out my entire design before I glue anything down. And the reason I do this is that way I can change my mind if I don't like the color or the pattern, or maybe like I didn't place something just right. Like maybe like on this card right here, if I lay it out ahead of time, I might be able to tell that maybe my rainbow wasn't like quite centered, or like I might need to move it over a little bit to make room for the clouds when I get those added in. If I've glued it down, I'm kind of stuck with it. If you kind of place everything and kind of know where it's going to go ahead of time, it'll make your project a lot easier. Also, when you glue it down, you might think, I think that kind of what we mostly think is that we would take a shape and we'd paint some glue on the back and stick it down. But actually, I find that it's a lot easier to first actually paint Mod Podge, like a layer of Mod Podge on my watercolor paper. Then I can take my shape and stick it down, right? And then I can go back with my Mod Podge again and like do a second coat of Mod Podge to seal off these edges so that you don't have little bits that are like trying to come up. It's kind of a nicer, kind of a cleaner finish for that. Let's see, third, don't overthink things. Like I tend to overthink things myself. Like I like to plan out a project and know exactly what part is gonna be what thing. This is project in a lot of ways that you kind of make up as you go along. I think that's probably why I like it so much, is it's a project that requires me to like turn off that thinking part of my brain and just trust that creative side of me. And that's another tip, be creative. I know particularly the magazine pages might feel a little bit random because like, here's a picture of somebody like doing something on a stovetop. But if you look, they're kind of up this way, but if you look closer, like what you can see are like really interesting patterns. Like these nuts right here kind of make a neat design. Like you could cut a shape right there and it'd be kind of polka dotted. This is a cool design right here if you cut a shape out of it. Even the print is cool. Same thing with the book pages. They, you can see there's like, it's words, but like the words create lines. And so that's kind of like visually like stripes. So you can play around with that a little bit. Sometimes I like my stripes this way. Sometimes I kind of do them at an angle. It's kind of whatever I'm feeling. I will also say don't limit yourself to what is in this kit. I have given you everything that you need like to make a card. Like you don't actually need to get anything else. But if you have some stuff around the house, why not add it in just for kicks, right? You might have some extra paper, like particularly if you have craft supplies at your house anyway, you probably have some other leftover scrapbooking paper. Pull that out. You might have some old magazines, you might have some junk mail. Pull that out. You might have some craft paints. Sometimes I even like to make collage paper. We'll just brush craft paint onto like grocery sacks, like those paper grocery sacks. That makes really cool collage paper. Kind of really nice design, like variations in color. Let's see, and oh yeah, Sharpie. I keep always forgetting about Sharpie. If you have a Sharpie at your house, like particularly like the ultra fine point, but even just the regular Sharpie, you can go back when your design is dry. Like, and this is cute, but you could also go back in and add some doodles or some details. You could add some little like birds in the sky, or you could add some little polka dots or some little like little scallops. I don't know. That's kind of for you to decide, but it is kind of fun to add that in. I do that often myself when I do collage. And finally, the most important step, the part that I really like absolutely don't want anyone to skip, is when your card is done, I want you to open it up and write like a sweet note to a friend or a loved one, and then give that card to them. I guarantee you it will put a smile on their face. Thanks so much.